guys, this is Sherry with True Tarot for today. I'm going to be doing your May forecast. This is a zodiac spread. It will cover general influences for the month, and we'll start with your first house. And this is how the world sees you. And so if you're a female Scorpio, there may be a man around you who has money. He may have wealth. He may be good with finances. He may be good with real estate, banking. It's someone who's comfortable and who's a self-made man. They're just good at making money or saving money or accruing wealth. For you Scorpio men, this could be how the world is seeing you in the month of May. And everyone is seeing you as quite established, wealthy, comfortable, enjoying the good things in life, and being practical, sensible, down to earth. So for you Scorpio men, you're going to be seen as a have, somebody who's achieved, financial position. And for some of the Scorpio women, because this is a general reading, if you work in finance or real estate or banking and you manage people's funds in any, shape, form, or fashion, this could also be you. And how the world is perceiving you. They're not seeing your gender as much as your business strength and acumen. Okay, in your second house, you have the card of rest after labor, and this is regarding your money. So I think a lot of you don't feel a sense of stress with your finances in the month of May. I think you're using some of the money to maybe have reunions with people, celebrations. This is the card where there might even be a romance or a marriage attached if you're female to this man. And so you finally have a sense of relief that you won't have to fight the money dragon anymore, and you'll be comfortable, and you can focus on the harmony and the romance or the marriage. For others of you, this just means you're going to take a break, or you might want to use some money for a getaway in the summer. For some of you, you're just going to not handle your finances. I mean, you might take a refund from the IRS and again, do a real big family get-together or a vacation. But this is a card where you're not really that active with your money. It's more about resting and enjoying, what you have. Now, I have to say, Scorpios, you have a 4, a 4, and a 4 in a row. And so for the month of May, regardless of what the face cards are reading, when you have this many 4s, there is a real urgency or desire for stability and structure in your life. And so with all these 4s, this month is significant for you in terms of laying down foundations for your own future security and for your psychological security or base. Having said that, we're moving to the third house. This is the house of communication. It's ruled by Gemini. It can indicate neighbors, your environment, siblings, cousins. Even if it's online, there's a social environment, social media, Facebook. And so you're going to be retreating from people this month and just recharging your battery. So for many of you, you really want rest and relaxation, and you want to celebrate, what you've achieved or attained. You may want to share it with a few close people, but many of the peripheral individuals, in your neighborhood, your environment, you're going to retreat from. And I think it's just that you're a little tired and you need to recover and regroup your energy. And the same thing goes in your home. You have the 4 of Cups. Sorry, it's a coffee moment. And the Four of Cups represents, again, sort of a stasis where you're not in hibernation, and there is, offers or cups or emotional overtures being made to you regarding maybe one of your desires. But you're looking back, and you're looking back on the cups that spilled or didn't work out for you. So when you're in your home, you are thinking about opportunities and relationships that just didn't come through or make it for you. And there may be a sense of emptiness or a sense of feeling forlorn, maybe the blues. So, it's best for you to definitely have reunions with people and meet up with those that you want to see, maybe family, maybe people far away, or invite them to come visit you. But in terms of your neighborhood and certain people, you are going to be recovering and in a state of retreat. And this is really to find your equilibrium again and to rebalance yourself. Some of you last month had some kind of heavy cards with, a relationship maybe failing or ending, changing. And so, you may have that empty nest syndrome. It might not be necessarily, a love relationship or a friendship that went bad. Some of you, it may be that, your kids have left the nest, and you're just kind of reestablishing your ground again emotionally after some letdown that you may have had or false start last month. Okay, in your fifth house, this is the house of new relationships and also your children. So if it's regarding a new relationship, I consider that one that started or commenced in the last 3 years. This may be an ambitious person or a person who likes to travel. That could be a boat, a plane, whatever. But it's an individual that doesn't, just want to get by. They want to create something with their lives, and they're driven. They want to achieve their aims. And so if you're dating a new person, they are an ambitious type of person. And if it's your children, the same goes for them. Some of them may be traveling, wanting to travel to see you. You may go to travel to see them, but with this, reunion card and celebration card in your second house, that could be graduations and things of that sort. It would be better for the kids to travel to you because you're kind of in a cocoon and you're in a state of retreat and maybe some deflated, emotions. So, either case, new love, ambitious, travels, wants to travel, maybe with you. Children, ambition, getting somewhere in life, which is great, and also they may want to travel. Now, in your work house and your health house, you have a judgment card. So for some of you that have had health challenges, because this house represents your health and your work, you are going to get a sense of conclusion about a matter or situation. So if you had any mystery or mysterious health issue, in the month of May, you should get the definitive right prognosis, diagnosis, assessment of the real state of affairs regarding your health. For some of you, this may have been that you had an operation and you're recovering and recuperating because, again, this is finding your equilibrium, and the fours are stability. And, you can't heal unless you have a certain degree of stability. But there is a final assessment or decision. Whether you make it or a physician makes it, I can't tell you that. But you won't be hanging or in wonderment over some situation that might have perplexed you. And with the work, this is saying that you've really done everything, that you could, and you might be making a decision on, do I stay, do I go? There might have been a decision where there might have been a merger or some legal situation that's going to determine your position or your fate at your job or with your next project one can be finishing, another one certainly can be beginning. But there is this sense that there will be a final assessment on a project, on a department, on a client. So you'll have to see what this card means for you. For some of you, I just think you're going to want to change gears in your work life. And I think some of you might decide even to leave your place of work in the month of May. Okay, now in your partnership house, you have the Ace of Swords. Partners can be children, mates, colleagues, family members. And this is the victory card. So one of your partners is feeling a victory. Now, if they were trying to win you over romantically, they feel they've done it. Like they've gotten to your heart. They've met the challenge. They've jumped through fire for you, and they've won you. So this is a person that likes to have challenges and to achieve them. For others of you, this could be someone in your life that won a lawsuit or won some kind of a victory, and they're feeling very good about themselves. And for others, there may be news that they're pregnant, and usually it's with a boy when it's the Ace of Swords. And that's a victory for them as well, that they're going to give birth to this son. So it's a new, fresh start for one of your relationships, and usually not pride so much, but self confidence, assertiveness comes up with this card, and maybe enjoying the victory. Okay, now in your bedroom, this is very important to you Scorpios. You have the Moon card. And so you're going to have distrust with people. You're going to have trust issues with any lover that you're in bed with this month. And it might have been that you got burned from another relationship, or you thought, someone was really into you, and then it flipped on a dime. So distrust is coming up significantly. So it's not to say you can't have sexercise or great pleasure in the month of May, but your intuition is going to be feeding you a lot of information about the person you're with. And, just be careful not to imagine red flags where they don't exist. Sometimes people don't tell you certain things or communicate not because they're being dishonest. They're just reticent or shy, or they take a little time to get to know a person because they have their trust issues also. So be aware that no matter who you're with, even if you're with a spouse that you've been with for 40 years, your radar's going off that you're picking up something, and something's not right, or someone's hiding something from you. Well, you Scorpios love mystery, and so you may create one for yourselves in the month of May with your love partner. Now, if it's shared resources, you also feel something's not on the up and up. An insurance company's lying, they're not paying out, a custody battle, the ex is hiding things, they're lying. Your tax return, they screwed up, they didn't refund you, they did it on purpose. This is all about distrust. So any shared resources with another individual, you are going to be thinking the worst. So, be careful what you think, because sometimes people will prove you right? Okay, ninth house. You have the attachment card. It's formally called the Devil in the tarot deck, and it indicates habits or situations that you should have left behind long ago, and you still can't get out of it. You feel chained to it. So if it's a lawsuit, ugly, long, never ending, the devil brings back friends. It just never ends. So not good for lawsuits. But you may be attached to winning or the fight, or you have a person in your life who has to win at any cost. And so, Scorpio, with your Mars energy, you're showing them you can stand it out and hold it out with the best of them. If it's travel, don't go. It's hedonistic, it's seductive, but you will not have good experiences. It will bring you back to old habits, whether that's over drinking, drugs, one-night stands, all the hedonistic pursuits. You will not feel good when you wake up the next morning and you're home. I do not suggest you travel this month. I suggest people come and visit you and travel and have reunions in your own turf. If it's anything to do with publishing online, be careful of what you're writing, social media, what you're putting out there, because this is about negative energy and not getting over things from the past. So you're not going to look innovative, you're not going to look bright and beautiful, you're going to look down and out. And the same thing goes with higher education. The student loans or the financial burden would be too great for you to take on, and it would be a monkey on your back. So I'm not suggesting anything to do with higher education for you Scorpios in the month of May. Maybe that's because the grants have been fulfilled. I don't know, but it's showing that you would end up paying more than you would get. Okay, in the way the world sees you, in your 10th house, it's usually related to your career. It's saying that you're acting busy, but you may not be doing anything. You may be doing a lot of nothing. It's kind of running around. It's kind of juggling people, things, enterprise. It's looking busy and it's looking happy in the midst of change. But because you have, these sort of heavier 4 cards of rest and recuperation, some of you might have recovered from an illness and you might be busy, running to doctors, maybe your job right now. But anyway, people see you not as harried or stressed, but they see that you're a little evasive and you're usually wanting to do 2 things or juggle 2 people or 2 jobs. You don't like, putting all of your eggs in one basket. And so many of you may be going to school and working. Many of you may be raising a family and working. Many of you may have 2 jobs. So the world is seeing you as very busy. And, for some of you, you may have to be busy if you are a business owner, because that's how the world is seeing you, very good with money and established. So, your work or your business may require you to be running around, all the time and getting things done. Your friendship house, you have an aggressive person showing up. They're usually a male, but they don't have to be. They can be a female with a lot of assertive energy. They're very mental, usually an air sign, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. They're on a mission to prove themselves, and they always try too hard. Most readers say that they have a good heart, they're courageous, they're brave. They don't tell you they're also selfish. So one of your friends wants to assert themselves, they have something to prove, they're on a mission. This can be a mission to convince you of something, to show you they have more packing upstairs than you have. They're just not a king or queen yet, so they overcompensate sometimes. And, they're rough around the edges. They can be a little brash sometimes. This is one of your friends. And then eventually we get to the 12th house, which is considered the house of your undoing, what's hidden, what's secret, where you can self-sabotage. And you have the Justice card here. Now that's quite interesting. The Justice card is usually about a legal decision, a final decision, a completion. And, you had the Judgment card in your work house or your health. And so for many of you, these are, kind of karmic cards to begin with. So the Justice card is a very karmic card in the 12th house, and it means that justice will be served and people will get what they deserve. Now, for many of you Scorpios, you may have been burnt in the past and you felt the justice system failed you, significantly. And in the month of May, it's coming up for you, because you have distrust here with, shared resources, and then you have the devil in the litigation house. So some of you, may have had to deal with a decision that you felt was unjust, or that God is unjust. You might have dealt with an illness, and why did I get cancer and nobody else did? This is the card of real deep soul searching, because it's about not only is there justice in the world, but is God just? Is there justice in the universe? And because this is your blind spot, or you haven't mastered it yet, I don't think a lot of you can admit that some of the things that occurred to you might have been from other times or other lives played back to you, that you in fact at some point had done something similar to someone else, and then the snake bit you and the scorpion didn't like it too much. So you'll have to decide, Scorpios, why justice would be your blind spot. I mean, I'm assuming 90% of you are going to walk away from the video saying justice is blind. I'm not blind. Justice is blind. But, maybe there is a true justice in the universe. And, you Scorpios can go very deep. You can go very high or very low, But if you're the eagle type, you might begin to understand, or let's say meditate on the idea that maybe everything we get is for our greater good, or at least it's what we truly deserve. And if there was problems with fairness or justice in your life, were there times when you were on the other side of that equation and you did something or took advantage of a person or a situation just because you were strong or you could? So you'll have to think karmically why this card is in your 12th house. I tend to believe that, we're all given something to learn, and you haven't mastered this lesson yet. That at least I can be sure of. And with these fours here, you definitely are going to use the month of May to recoup your energy and regenerate. And you guys are one of the best signs at regenerating. So other than, this suspicion card in your bedroom, if you have too many suspicions about somebody, just take a break from them, and don't sleep with them. If you're getting a lot of signals and you feel a lot of distrust, the sex is not going to be good anyway. So take a break. It's saying that you need to rest and recuperate and recover. And if you're in any nasty legal situation that's dragged on since the beginning of time, I would seriously consider extricating yourself from it if there's any way possible to discuss it with legal counsel. And, it might be costing you too much on a psychic level to keep up, this fight. You may consider, that the justice is to leave, and just remove yourself from a situation that's unending and non-productive. And that may be, the reward of, the lawsuit, that you just are no longer going to be a slave to the struggle or the fight or whatever this is. Okay, Scorpios, I wish you a good month. If you did have any kind of surgery or operations, I wish you a speedy recovery. And I hope that you will have a good month. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you back here next month for your general forecast reading. Take care.